Welcome to Z's and 3.
For three for the win, yes!
And welcome to one of the most interesting parts of the NBA schedule. The trade deadline, the All-Star break, they're in the rearview mirror. But we still have 30% of the regular season left to play. We have a pretty good read on most teams, who's playing for something really at this point and who isn't at all. Most teams won't have a massive identity shift at this point, unless you make a once-in-a-generational trade. So we march on adding games night by night, day by day, trying to learn just a little bit more. Well, what did we learn this weekend? Well, we will break it down for you stock market style. Who's a buy? Who's a sell? Who's a hold? All of that coming in the House Shoes segment. Plenty to learn from this past weekend. Before we tip, if you like the show, please do like and subscribe. If you're listening on podcast, give us a 5-star review. Share with a friend to stay in the know. Remember, an assist makes two people happy. Let's get it. Group chat. Games of the day. Twofer. Both one seeds were in action. Who will set the pace for the best record in the league? We start with the Cleveland Cavaliers. A big weekend for the Cavs. They hosted 3 seed in the East, New York Knicks on Friday night, and then Sunday, the 2 seed in the West, Memphis Grizzlies. Are the Grizzlies up into the 2? We'll get there come standings. Friday night, they took the Knicks to the woodshed. The Knicks led for all of 3 minutes. All Cleveland from there. The Cavaliers led by 42 at one point. They win the game 142-105. 70 points they get from their bench. 27 was the leading scorer individually, Donovan Mitchell. What would they have for Memphis come Sunday? A lot of questions still about this Memphis team for people. Are they as good as their record indicates? Darius Garland for Cleveland would sit out the game Sunday after a tough 2-for-12 game against New York. Game Sunday against Memphis, 11 lead changes, 8 ties. Game that Cleveland looked to have in control for the entirety in spite of Memphis repeatedly pushing into it. Speaking of pushes, it got a little chippy early in the third quarter between Donovan Mitchell and Desmond Bane. There were 3 double-digit leads. In the fourth period, Memphis would cut it to 4 with 23 seconds left, their best chance to steal a victory. Jaren Jackson Jr. goes to the line, missed both. Cavs salted away at the free throw line themselves. 129-123, a 15-point fourth quarter from, you guessed it, Ty Jerome. He ate him up. 26 in the contest, 25 points, 13 rebounds from Evan Mobley, game high 33 from Donovan Mitchell. What a weekend for the Cleveland Cavaliers to get the longest active win streak in the league now at 7 and knock off the Knicks and the Grizzlies. What would OKC have? Sunday night closing out national game at the Minnesota Timberwolves. They'd taken care of business. The Thunder against the Jazz Friday night, a 130-107 win. Remember, it was Minnesota that threw some burrs in the saddle of the Thunder prior to the All-Star break. This game was intriguing as it was a Minnesota blowout in the first half. They were up 19, then a 21-2 Wolves run. They took the lead, did the Wolves, with 1:42 left in the half. Wild lead swing alert. It was a J-Dub half-court heave, straight cash, homie. We're in Minnesota. Shout out to Randy Moss. That had it a 63-61 Minnesota lead at half. But Minnesota, they hang their hat on the defensive side, albeit with a lot of injuries right now. But where was it in the third? Because the Thunder outscored them 42-33, 16 points from SGA in that quarter, a 103-96 Thunder lead hitting the fourth. And then another massive run, 18-2 from the 7:44 mark on, give enough cushion to finish off the Wolves, 130-123. 37-8-8, the effort from Shea. Anthony Edwards, a 29-point game, but he did it on 8 of 21 shooting, including 4 of 13 from 3. So the Thunder get back, avenging their loss to the Wolves prior to the break. They lead the season series 2-1, and this could be setting up for potential first-round matchup. We'll get there in standings. Rest of the slate for Sunday. It was 10 games in total, so we've already dealt with 2. 8 more to go. Let's start in Boston. The Celtics hosting the Knicks. What would the Knicks do coming off that drubbing at the hands of the Cavs? The Celtics, They have won the previous 2 meetings between New York and Boston by 23 and 27. Would the third time be any different? Nope. There were only 2 lead changes. Those were in the early buckets. It was all Boston from there. They led by 27. They win the thing 118-105. 25, 10, and 9 from Jason Tatum. 1 assist short of his 5th career triple-double. He got his 4th Thursday night in their win against the Sixers. 24 points from Jaylen Brown. The Celtics have now won 5 straight games. A brutal weekend for the New York Knicks. Trounced by both teams that they are chasing in the East standings. They are an 0-4, the Knicks, combined against the Cavs and the Celtics. They have 2 games left against Cleveland and 1 game left against Boston in the season series. Second hottest team in the league? Well, yeah, you guessed it. The Detroit Pistons, 6 wins in a row, firmly planting them as the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference after a 148-143 win Sunday in Atlanta. Another massive game from Cade Cunningham. 38 points, 7 rebounds, 12 assists, 3 blocks, 7 made threes. More on him later. 24 from Malik Beasley, who had 6 made threes. The veteran journeyman who's been around. He is now 2nd in the league this season in total threes made. He has made 220 on the year. What a fit for both parties, Detroit and for Malik Beasley. Let's stay in the East. The team ahead of Detroit in the standings, Milwaukee. They won their 4th consecutive game, 121-13 over the Miami Heat on Sunday. They overcame a 40-point effort from Tyler Hero with a 23-point, 16-rebound, 7-assist day from Giannis. Ahead of Milwaukee in the standings, so we've gone from 6 to 5 to now 4, the Indiana Pacers. They needed a win today to stay ahead of the Bucks. More on that when we update standings at the end. They would get it. The Pacers 129-111. They were hosting the LA Clippers, who did not have Kawhi Leonard. The Pacers led whistle to whistle. It finished 129-111. 29 points, 12 assists from Tyrese Halliburton, one of 7 players in double digits for Indiana. Trailing all of those teams is Orlando, currently in the 7, looking to bounce back from a disappointing Friday night loss against Memphis. They blew a 19-point lead. Whatever, let's throw it in there. Wild lead swing. So what did they have? Well, they got to play the Washington Wizards. Good team to get right against. The Magic crest the century mark, scoring-wise, over 100 points. They win 110-90, 23 from Franz Wagner, 19 for Paolo Banchero, 23 from Anthony Black. Let's go lottery land real quick. Raptors handled the Suns in Toronto 127-109. 4 Raptors with 20-plus points. Chris Boucher, Emmanuel Quickley, Scotty Barnes, and RJ Barrett. The Pelicans beat the Spurs 114-96. 22-9, 3, 2, and 2 from Zion Williamson. And finally, to close out the slate for Sunday, 1 game of consequence in the West. It was on the national slate, mid-afternoon. Warriors hosting the Mavs, a day in which the Warriors franchise retired Andre Iguodala's jersey, the number 9, going up into the rafters in San Francisco. These are 2 teams fighting in the West play-in positioning band 7 through 10, and Golden State would control this one completely, winning 126-102, 30 points from Steph Curry, 18 from Jimmy Butler III. Yes, he's officially going by Jimmy Butler III. I just noticed it in the NBA notes tonight. Maybe he'd been doing it for a while. Warriors have won 3 in a row, and the win gave them a full game swing, now just half a game behind Dallas for the 8-9 seeds. So let's update those standings as promised. With the Wolves' loss, they remain behind the Clippers in the fight for the 6th seed, the final guaranteed playoff spot in both conferences. Remember, 1 through 6, they've earned their way into the playoffs. It is 7 through 10 that has to play their way in. The Thunder, by virtue of their win, they have their 46-10 losses. They are a half game behind the Cavs for the best record in the league, but they are 9.5 games ahead of both Memphis and Denver, who have identical records at 37-20, fighting for that 2-3. Denver had their 9-game win streak snapped over the weekend at the hands of the Los Angeles Lakers. Luka's best game as a Laker thus far. That win put the Lakers into the 4 seed by virtue of 1 less loss then Houston in the 5. The intrigue in the West, outside of the play-in race that we have talked about, 6 through 10, seems to be for the 2-3 spot and the 4-5. The most intriguing being the 4-5, who ends up in the 4 and the 5, because those two teams will play one another, with the 4 obviously having home court advantage. The 6th seed in the Eastern Conference, Detroit Pistons, by virtue of their 6-game win streak, now have some breathing room over the Orlando Magic. They are 3 games clear, but that 4-5 battle in the East seems to be the juiciest as of now. The Pacers a half game ahead of the Bucks. If those were to hold, those two teams would face off against one another to begin the playoffs, with the Pacers having home court advantage, but still plenty of basketball to play. That's your standings update. Heavy Pour, leading score of the night, presented by Portland Water. Check them out at drinkpdxwater.com. Order you some water. You can get sparkling, you can get regular. Comes in the cool green can. You see up there, we've cracked them every time a player's gone over 50. Did that happen tonight? It did not. 40 from representing for the Tylers, Tyler Hero, in the Miami Heat's loss against the Milwaukee Bucks. Dunk of the night. Hey, if you want to sponsor Dunk of the Night, insert your sponsorship here. Holler at your boy. Info is down below. I'm going to go with a left-handed tomahawk from Obi Toppin, one of the game's most powerful dunkers. Reminds me of old school vintage Amari Stoudemire. It was a pretty nice dunking weekend, though, from the Wizards' second-year player, Bilal Coulibaly. He had a missed corner 3 on Friday night, if I remember correctly. Got his own rebound and had a pretty nice bang out. Performance of the day, night. Games spanned the whole day on Sunday. Cade Cunningham. What a turnaround for the Pistons from their 15 wins last season. Cade Cunningham, in my opinion, continuing to move into that all-NBA conversation, second or third team, with his 38.7 rebound, 12 assist game. Biggest news item from over the weekend: Spurs head coach and Basketball Hall of Famer Greg Popovich is not expected to return to that role this season. And furthermore, his future in returning to the sideline is in question as well. He is still in the recovery process from the stroke he suffered in November. The NBA's all-time winningest coach, 1,390 regular season wins, 170 in the postseason, on his way to 5 titles. This comes on the heels of the blood clot discovery and news in the shoulder of Spurs star Victor Wembanyama that has shut him down for the remainder of the regular season. We hope to see both back where they thrive, and that is on an NBA court. Regarding a player that we have not seen on the court much this season, Joel Embiid, 19 games played this season. He is on pace for a career low for a season in which he suited up for. The reporting was that the Sixers and Embiid continue to explore options, hoping to correct the knee issues that have continued to hamper him. That may include surgery and an extended shutting down period. House shoes. Before we get down to the true orders of business: buy, sell, hold, NBA stock watch. We have kicks cam on my Jordan 3 Katrinas. Classic right here. Jordan 3, my favorite shoe of all time. Yeah, maybe. Let's talk NBA stock watch. And who should you be buying? This is a buy recommendation. Cleveland Cavaliers. If you have not bought already, buy more. Still think there are a lot of folks that do not believe in the Cavaliers, but my recommendation: buy more Cavs stock. Boston, that's a buy order as well. They've had a little bit of a price dip over the last couple of weeks, but you should have loaded up on the defending champs, as they are a solid dividend blue chip earner. Also, I'm putting a heavy buy recommendation. Not financial advice. I don't know if I have to say that. You can't buy stock in these teams, but, just covering my... Detroit. This is a buy and hold stock, and keep buying. Not for this year or this year's playoffs, but I'm talking 2-3 years. That Detroit Pistons stock, you can put your kids through college off of. Also, a buy order on the LA Lakers. They got Luka. I mean, come on. And finally, the Orlando Magic. This is a deep cut. I think you really have to dig into their balance sheet to see why they are a buy Their 3 best players, they've all missed significant time. This is a team that went to 7 games with the Cavs in last year's playoffs. But there's still enough time. Remember, 30% of the season left to find their rhythm. So why don't you buy a little Orlando Magic stock while you're at it? The Magic Celtics, a 2-7 matchup, could have some intrigue if Orlando is fully healthy. I like how Orlando can defend. Not calling an upset there, but I think it would be intriguing. Sell. These are the ones. Sell. Minnesota. I know that they are battling injuries, but man, they have looked off all season long. And the reasoning? There's a litany, and they are all very valid reasons, because you traded your franchise cornerstone on the doorstep of the season. They have been in a tumultuous ownership, drawn-out battle that went into arbitration court to figure out who is going to own the team moving forward. That has since been settled. It is being reported, and it's out there, that Kevin Garnett is going to be welcomed back into the franchise with open arms once the deal is actually done. But I think right now, Minnesota, a team that went to the Western Conference Finals, sell. Could see them easily not even making the playoffs if they stay in that play-in band and are not able to play their way out. Staying in the Western Conference, 2 teams that faced off against one another to open up the playoffs last year. Phoenix Suns. Sell it all. Get whatever you can. It is rock bottom, closer than any form of legit contention for the Phoenix Suns. Sell it all. Also sell the New York Knicks while you're at it. And here's why. It's a second-round exit that's looking in the cards again. And this is not my opinion. Could they beat Boston in a playoff series? Because the Knicks right now look pretty much slated into the 3 seed, and Boston locked into the 2 seed. Those 2 teams, if they win their first-round matchups, they would face off against one another in the semis. Could they beat Boston in a playoff series? Absolutely. Have they shown the ability to beat them in a game yet this season? No. So for that reason, New York Knicks, heavy sell order. Hold stocks. These are ones, if you got them, just hold on to them. We don't know which way they're going yet. A couple of former champions in there. Start with the Milwaukee Bucks. Don't know what to make of the Bucks. Giannis has had an MVP-type season, would have an MVP case any other year. They've swapped Chris Middleton for Kyle Kuzma. If they stay in the 4-5 and the Bucks were to win their first-round series and the Cavaliers their first-round series, Bucks, Cavs, second round, I at least got to say I'm intrigued. Denver. Denver is a heavy hold right now. They were the hottest thing going in the NBA prior to Saturday, the cool down at the hands of the Lakers. They can look every bit the part of a champion that they were 2 years ago. They can also lose to the Washington Wizards, as they did earlier this season when the Wizards snapped their 15-game losing streak. I think Denver, their championship aspiration, and that's going to be dependent on staying in the 2-3. That would keep them away from Oklahoma City until the Western Conference Finals, if chalk were to hold. Also hold the LA Clippers. They have the second best defensive rating in the NBA. Some nights they look like that team that can defend and shut down anyone. Some nights they get run out of the gym. They got run out of the gym today. Holding the 6 seems to be the best case for them, seeding-wise. That would give them a guaranteed playoff spot. That would give them Denver, Memphis, or the Lakers in the first round, which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I'm going to give you one more small buy recommendation as well. Golden State Warriors. Just intriguing as they continue to incorporate Jimmy Butler back into the fold. Steph Curry having an all-NBA first-team type season. So maybe pick up a little bit of Golden State Warriors stock while you're at it. Buy, sell, hold. NBA edition, 2/3 of the way through the season. What to watch for Monday night's 8-game slate. Couple of good interconference battles. 2 Western Conference teams on the road against Eastern Conference playoff contenders. Clippers continue their Midwest swing after losing to the Pacers. They will face off against the Pistons in Detroit. And the Pacers welcoming the Denver Nuggets, who begin a 4-game Midwest swing. On top of that, we get to see part 3 of the Wolves Thunder. So 2 teams played on Sunday night. They will run it back Monday in Oklahoma City. Season series is tied at 1 apiece. Who gets the third between 2 Northwest Division foes? We find out Monday. If you miss any of the action, do as the gift says. Like and subscribe. Cash Money. Season 3's We Always Got You. Hope you enjoyed the show. We will see you back here tomorrow. Peace.